Late Middle Ages. Towards the end, constant invasions and battles took their toll. They caused so much chaos and conflicts that the government structures began to collapse. The decline in economy due to excessive warfare also made it difficult to feed people and maintain armies. Famine and diseases added to the death and misery which arose from warfare. All these things combined to lead to the fall of the Roman Empire. Feudalism and society in Europe. The word feudalism derives from the Latin terms feudalis, meaning fee, and feodum, meaning fief. Feudalism was a social system in medieval Europe where the king owned all the land. He gave it out to nobility, vassals, in exchange for military and other services, who in turn distributed it between knights, tenant vassals, for an army, and also peasants, serf, for money or produce, who worked, lived on, and were tied to the land. Daily life in the medieval period. The daily life of people in the medieval period depended on where they stood in the social system. Life for peasants revolved around agricultural labor. Their existence was marked by the hardship, with a meager diet and limited comforts. Children spent their days assisting their parents with various tasks, such as doing household chores, caring for animals, and contributing to food cultivation. On the other hand, noble landowner fulfilled essential administrative duties related to their estates. They oversaw the management of their lands, supervised the work of the peasants under the authority, and organized the necessary resources for military campaigns and social gatherings. Engaging in activities such as horseback, riding, hunting, and hawking, they cultivated skills befitting their noble status. Furthermore, they fulfilled additional obligations imposed by their own superiors or higher-ranking nobles. Women in both the peasant and noble classes typically held subordinate roles, responsible for maintaining smooth household operations. The Church played a central role during this time, hosting weekly services, as well as important life events such as marriages, christenings, and funerals. Urban areas in medieval England were limited in number and relatively small in size compared to modern standards. Towns housed numerous skilled craftsmen, including carpenters, blacksmiths, and tailors. Trade formed a vital aspect of town life, with goods such as iron, wool, salt, and agricultural products frequently bought and sold. Coastal towns engaged in international trade with other countries. Consequences of feudalism. Feudalism was a system that had a profound impact on medieval society. The influence of the lords increased as they took over more land than they could handle. This land was then divided into large fields, and each field was further divided into strips, which were worked on by the peasants. Some were working multiple strips on different lands, creating a situation where landowners owed loyalty to more than one lord, leading to conflicts and quarrels. Another consequence was the creation of a permanent class divide, as fiefs were often hereditary. Upon the death of the lord and the absence of an heir, the land went back to the king, who could grant it to another lord. This created a society where the nobles held the power and wealth, while the peasants were bound to their lands and had little opportunity for social mobility. Despite its flaws, feudalism helped to establish social order and provided a system of governance in medieval Europe. Decline of feudalism. Some factors that contributed to the decline of feudalism include: 1. Population declined due to wars and plague. This led to a shortage of labor, and large estates were abandoned, as there was no one to work on them. Eventually, cities and towns got rich as the industry and commerce expanded, which led to more taxes. The monarchs were able to maintain central armies for the protection of the people, rendering the feudal system redundant. Third, kings and churches desired loyalty solely to them in order to have a more organized system. The feudal system was a burden to this. 4. The growth of new towns and cities also saw labor leaving the countryside for cities in search of new jobs and opportunity. 5. As the use of coinage grew, the lords could pay the king with money instead of military services, and the king in turn could hire mercenaries for his wars. Moreover, the king could pay the lords in money instead of lands. Additionally, some serfs could now buy land and therefore purchase their freedom. All these factors combined to weaken the feudal system, though it would continue in the future in some forms and places.